Bernard, speaking of undisputed being the ultimate goal, there's an undisputed versus undisputed fight that's on the calendar now. Canelo Alvarez and Jermell Charlo. And, Jermell Charlo, he's in the position you were in when you had to move up and fight Tarver, put on about 14, 15 pounds and try to move up and beat the bigger man. What chances do you give Charlo? And should he hire Mackie Shilstone like you did? And what's your thoughts on it?
Hey, listen. Listen. Ben been working behind the scenes for many years. You know who Ben is. And he might not show himself or talk about it and things, but when we're done, you can ask him about the thinking of Bernard Hopkins to a point of his experience, good or bad, and it's not bad, but just adversity and I think different. All the stuff that you just said with the Charlo, and to me, they're the most dangerous opponents for anybody that step in the ring, including Canelo Alvarez. It ain't just because of their heart. It ain't just because of I like them or I see something that no other fighter can withstand. Nah, I just see the time that we are in right now with the athletes and the IQ of a few guys that's going to stand out when they're in big matches. Not getting off of anything that I'm going to answer after I answer this one, that I'll say this one because it's important for the fight that's coming up with Spence and Crawford. This definitely is one of the premieres on the highest level for what's to come next. See, we're going to get out of this year with another fight just as big as the Spence and Crawford fight. When the last time in history, in the last 10 years, where we possibly have 3 major fights that could have been once a year like the norm, or at least 2, Cinco de Mayo and September. What did that tell me? Okay, COVID had things backed up. Everybody's chopping at the bit. They want to go. I get it. That helps. Oh, absolutely, it helps. But the fighter right now is pushing the narrative and everything and saying, hey, you represent me. I'm the boss. Make that fight happen. Well, no. Negotiate for me, not you first. That's what they're telling the promoters or their advisors, they call themselves. So to me, everybody has an opportunity, fighters, to prove their worth. This year, we're in the middle of 2023. We're in the middle. We're already almost done. We're right in the middle. I say between now and next year, around this time, we're going to see multiple fights that we we didn't get this 15 years ago. And that's the difference. So we're going to listen, I enjoy it. Embrace it. Because this is what we've been asking for, the fighters to own up, stand up, be held accountable. And at the end of the day, if you fall short, that doesn't mean you can't be great later. And that's what's starting to sink in. That you get one time around in this sport called boxing, Don't gamble and think you're going to get 3 decades like B Hop did. I told you I was an alien. I'm in the world, but I'm not from the world. I had to throw that in. I had to throw that.
You're like the Parliament Funkadelic and the Earth, Wind and Fire videos from outer space. Something else.
Yeah. The chocolate style. Yeah, the spaceship, the mothership. And you could throw boots. You could throw Bootsy in there. You could throw Bootsy in there on the end.
Bootsy Collins.
Yes. Yeah. And then you put Boots Hill and you put Boots in there with Vergil like that. That's the fight I want to see. Like I want the fights on the same night that's going to happen Saturday. I'm looking for both guys to be victorious but well earned and deserved, and start calling each other out soon as the win is over. I mean, you know, they're looking at me like I'm going against the grain. I'm a Philly guy, but I know what Boots going to bring. And right now, even though you didn't ask, that's a tough one to call. And it's a good thing when it's like that. You know why? Because how many fights have we had in a long time when they happened back to back to back in every division, whatever the division was? And you're like, yo, B, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, you ask reporters, like interview guys that's covering boxing. This ain't people that's boxing or future Hall of Famers or non-future Hall of Famers. These are reporters and fighters, and everybody above is like, yo, that's a tough one, man. I don't know. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. You got to break records, right? You got to be in competition with yourself. That's promoters, fighters, and everybody. Because like you said, you mentioned those numbers from the Tank and Ryan fights, stagnant. Now, do you rest on your laurels? Do you rest and stick your chest out for the next 5 years? Do that? Come on, please. Really? So when you're in competition with yourself and you raise a bar on yourself, you give yourself no advantage, only to give yourself a disadvantage because you're in competition with yourself. That takes a strong mind, a strong discipline to not fall asleep at any time or any place. And so whether we taking the lead, which I think, and I know we did, or somebody else take the lead, is all going to help what? The world good of boxing later. And who don't think the same, it's going to be exposed based on their behavior. They're going to be exposed. Why that guy ain't fighting that guy? The promoter got to answer that question. If the fighter stands up for himself, the fighter ain't going to go out there and make an idiot of himself and say, well, I don't want to fight him because he's a little too big. I don't want to fight him because he wants to do this, he wants to do that. Yeah, you got to draw the line when it comes to the business. But at the end of the day, if it's 4 or 5 pounds in between and y'all meet in the middle, how many times Ron Hopkins did that? You dare to be great? Okay. And guess what? I'm not going to hold you. Go to my history. And again, this interview ain't about me, but I wish I could use somebody else. But when it comes to saying what I'm saying, when I got the opportunity after Roy Jones and I's second fight fell through, everybody called me a fucking idiot because I ain't take the fight and I just beat Tito. So I had the lottery ticket, but I lost the lottery ticket based on the top reporters, Tim Smith, New York, Dan Raphael, all the guys that we cool right now, don't get me wrong, but history will never be erased and my memory will never be erased. So I was asked to fight at a weight that I never had to fight at middleweight, to win the last and only fighter that can win all the major titles in history that stands today. And that is the WBO belt that was vacant. And the only belt in that division, the middleweight division, I didn't have. I agreed to fight at 156, 56, 57. Might be off one. I came in 155 and a half. I came in 2 pounds lighter than I was supposed to come, based on coming into a catch weight. To prove a point, I dropped 2 more pounds than the agreed pounds that they thought was going to be a disadvantage. We talk about it now and laugh, but at the end of the day, I dare to be great, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got slammed for not taking the second Roy Jones fight, but get manager of the year the top of the following year because I risked having no major fights after winning the Undisputed to gamble, and then I get Oscar De La Hoya opportunity that wasn't in the mix, wasn't in the conversation. It just fell on my table. That's taking a risk and also a chance on your career if it didn't happen. I mean, that's how I look at it. I know my fans out there will remember this, and also my adversaries / my haters. Oh, they watching. They're supposed to watch because you know why? If they don't watch, they don't learn. I'm a nice guy. I want to help everybody if I can.
But Bernard, I know again you got some things to get to, so I only got 2 more for you, brother. And let me know if you got a split. Just give me a sign. But again on talking about weight, how you had to get down to 57 for Oscar, and then
56.
Jump up 15 to 56 for Oscar, and then jump up the 15 pounds and upset Tarver. Again, Charlo, he's got to move up 14. And you said you think he's the most dangerous for Canelo. That kind of surprised me. That means more than David Benavidez and some other guys. How's he got to handle that weight, and why is he the most dangerous fighter to Canelo?
Because as far as I'm concerned, he's starving. He's starving to prove, he's starving to prove his supremacy, who he is, his identity. And his style is totally different from the styles that Canelo have fought when it comes to younger, more determined to prove that Canelo's time has been great, but is up. I just believe that Canelo will have to get him out of there early. The later the fight go, the more Canelo will start showing not only his age, but he will start showing the success, and the success that he been enjoying for so long is starting to look different as time go on in that ring. It's starting to feel different as time go on in those rounds in that ring. I don't see a knockout, only if it's on Canelo's, but I see a hard-earned, skillful, many moments in that fight where the young, the one to prove himself, that come out and show us something that we know he had, but he never had to show it until he stepped in it with Canelo. Canelo elevate Charlo to be the best that night. I just think that he has the skills, and if he maintain that mentality, it can be really, 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 really a nightmare for Canelo based on style. What I mean, not knocking this guy out, can't get the timing a little faster, not baiting into the come on in and fight me, fight me.
He can move too, good feet.
Listen, when you have good wills, and Canelo is in the quicksand, punch from the floor up. If you look at the fights before the loss, not the Mayweather, that was early on. People forgot that you don't even count that. It was the position of the feet that didn't stay in front of him and be mano a mano. When you don't do that with Canelo, Canelo got to reset and then go. Felix Trinidad had to reset.
I was going to bring that up.
Felix Trinidad had to reset. Look, you don't get points with your feet and your legs moving, but they will set you up for bigger accomplishment. That also will, I believe, frustrate your opponent, whether it's Canelo or anybody else that fights that style. It will make them more anxious to get you, because then I'm telling you, like Canelo went back in the ropes and said, come on, come on, come on. Why you, I'm standing right here. No, I ain't. No. No. You come off the ropes. You ain't gonna rest. The IQ and Canelo's is here, but the IQ of Charlo brothers, Jermell, I believe matches any fighter today when it comes to showing a supremacy in skills. And I didn't. And again, to me, I will have a clear. Trust me, I'm not riding the fence on this. I see that fight being a fight that is going to be exciting, but I won't be surprised if the fight goes decision to Jermell, if he fights a smart fight. If he don't, it don't go 12 rounds. That's the way I see it. I'm going to be consistent with that from now until fight night.